Good morning, children. In today's class of biology, the lesson What is Science? I am going to continue this part of what is basic science and what is applied science, and who are the different scientists who observe the science in different ways. So the basic science is the one that we are going to learn about something. So that is the basic science. So applied science is a science that we learn or we experiment on the known fact. Okay, so that is called as an applied science. Science is divided into basic science and applied science. Rather, the scientists who observe the nature, they are classified. So they are called as observational scientists. What are they called as? Observational scientists. And the scientists who experiment on the facts, they are called as experimental scientists. What are they called as? Experimental scientists. Okay, children? Scientists are again divided into two types. They are observation scientists and experimental scientists. Observation scientists are the scientists like ecologist, astrophysicist. So, observation scientist. Number one, ecologist. Two, geologist. Number three, astrophysicist, who observe the space physics, astrophysicist. And next, climatologist, climatologist. They are the observational scientists. So here, ecologists who observe the territorial behavior of the nature. Okay, geologists who observe the Earth's crust, the fossils that are present on the Earth's crust and all. So he is a person who observes the Earth and what is present in the Earth's crust and everything. And astrophysicist, he is a scientist who observes the space physics. That is, he photographs the distant galaxies and try to understand about the space. And coming to the climatologist, as you know well, the different climatic conditions of a particular place is being observed by the climatologists. So they are the observational scientists. And coming to experimental scientists, they are chemist number one, chemist number two, nuclear physicist, nuclear physicist. Number three, he's a biologist. Our subject, as you know well, he is known as biologist. Okay, so what do they do? Chemist. The chemist, observe the rates of the chemical reactions and try to understand the process involved in each structure of an atom and so on. Okay, so different molecules, atoms, everything is being observed. So rate of chemical reactions in a solution or in different components is being observed by the chemist by doing experimentally. Okay, and coming to the nuclear physicist. Nuclear physicist, he records the result of the angular momentum and of a particular object or the particle in a circular path. So, he records the result of the angular momentum of a particular particle in a circular path. He is about the nuclear physicist. Next, biologist. He studies the nature of the tissue cells in a body of animals, plants, etc. So, it is about the experimental scientists who observe and do the experiments and prove the results. So these are about the scientists who observe the nature, and some they specifically they do, or by an activity they perform the experiments and conclude the result and analyze and conclude the results. So these are the scientists who work upon the science. Is it clear, children? So hope you have understood today's topic of observational scientist and experimental scientist. Note down, children. And now I'll talk about the scientific methods that I already told you with different examples. Okay, children? Hope you have understood this topic now. Let's move to the scientific method. In previous class, I told you the different steps or the safety steps that the scientists follow in a scientific lab. What are they, children? It is first they think ahead what they had to do, and they should be very neat. First, be neat, think ahead. Oops, that is, they should not break or spit anything in the lab, and they should be very careful, watching their eyes and using goggles, etc. They have to watch their eyes carefully while doing the experimentation in the lab, and also they should not spit anything or eat anything in the lab without the permission of the teacher. They should not move around in the lab, and also they should be very careful while using the electrical appliances in the lab without getting any shocks. They should see very well whether the electrical cords are plugged into the plug boxes or the wires are in a proper condition or not. Okay, children, so this is about the safety methods that they have to follow in the scientific lab, and also they should be clean and keep the surroundings clean before and after coming out of the lab. So they should keep this lab premises very neat and clean. Hope you have understood this topic well. Now I'll revise the topic of scientific method and scientific process skills once again, so with examples, so that you can get a clear picture about the scientific method and process skills that the scientists use while doing their experimentation over a problem. Okay, children? Note down. So here, children, steps involved in scientific method with examples. So what are the steps involved in the scientific method we are seeing now? See here, children, the first one is observe. The first steps involved in the scientific method, as you know well, is observation. In observation, the scientists use their senses, or if we are doing this method. So if you as a science student, if you want to do an experiment or know a fact, then you have to observe. So the steps involved in scientific method is first observe. We use our senses to observe and make the observations. To make our observations, we have to use our senses. What are the sensory organs? Like eyes, ears, nose, that is smelling, everything. So we use ears to hear, eyes to see, and ask the questions. So by observations, we can put on some questions, or we get some questions of what it is. So then, if it is, for example, we want to know which soil is best for growing the bean seeds, that is planting bean seeds. So which soil works best for planting bean seeds? That is, here we have to get the answer. So what is an answer? We have to think. So we can get an answer that we will be thinking that a potting soil is the best for the bean seeds to grow. But is it correct or not? We can only prove it by the different steps like planning an experiment and then conducting an experiment and then concluding the result upon it. So these are the 5 scientific steps that we follow, that is the methods in the scientific method. See here, children, the example taken here is what soil works best for planting bean seeds. So possible answer that is tested here is that my answer is bean seeds sprout best in potting soil. That I am thinking. You may think in any other manner also. So here for this, you have to take 3 different soils and you have to test it. For that, you have to plan an experiment. What you have to do? You have to plan an experiment. For that, what you need different types of soils to prove your hypothesis. So how to conduct an experiment, you have to plan for this. So that it is to prove our hypothesis, you have to plan an experiment. And also you have to consider certain variables also. What are those variables? They affect our experimental, that is our answer. These are the variables are the factors that control. So they control our experimental process also. So that is about the variables. Okay. Here the bean seeds experiment, the water, we may take different types of soils to do this experiment, and also we have to control the soils, that is water and light that is available to them should be equally given to all the three types of soil. So which soil we are experimenting. So the variables should be kept constant over there, like water, temperature, light. These are the variables. So the factors, these are the factors that should be controlled. Okay children? Okay, note down. See children, here the variables. The variables are the factors that affect the outcome of the experiment. Okay. So here the water, light are the variables and the temperature are the variables that affect the outcome of the experiment. So they are kept constant here. Okay. So here what is the experiment I have? The question is, so which type of soil is best for growing the bean seeds? That is the hypothesis. I know it. Something my hypothesis may be. Yours will be different or mine will be different. For that we have to do the experiment. So first for doing the experiment you have to plan the experiment. So after for planning the experiment, I'll put identical seeds in three different kinds of soil. It is sandy soil, clay soil and potting soil. Different soils I am taking. Okay, so you have to plan an experiment to do this experiment. This method of science. Each will get the same amount of water and light where the variables are kept constant here. Next I will conduct the experiment. For conducting the experiment we will provide, first we have to be ready with our equipment. That is these types of soil, bean seeds, number of the seeds should be ready. So they have to kept ready. Okay, so equipment should be ready and then you have to do the experiment, that is conduct the experiment. After conducting the experiment you have to record everything what you have known while doing the experiment and organize the data. Okay children, so this is about the conducting the experiment. How do you conduct the experiment? You will take the three types of soil, seeds of number of the seeds you will be taking same and putting in each pot in the similar manner and provide the temperature, water and sunlight equally to all the three pots and observe after 21 days. So this is conducting the experiment. Okay, note down this. Now you know about how to conduct an experiment. So you are taking here, as I told you before, I will be taking three pots with different soil, sandy soil, clay soil and potting soil. I will put some same seeds, that is bean seeds I have taken here for instance in each pot and supplied the water and light to each pot. So and observe daily and measure. So after 21 days I will be measuring this continuously and after 21 days I will draw the conclusions and communicate the results. What is my conclusion is, here according to the data that is being provided by conducting the experiment, I will come to the conclusion. Okay, so analyze the data. I will analyze completely what I got the result over it. I will get the analyzation over the data I have made and come to the conclusion and decide whether my hypothesis, our hypothesis which was already made, was correct or not. Here my assumption that bean seeds can grow well only in the potting soil was wrong, because it can also grow well in the sandy soil also. So, but in the clay soil it does not grow well. So like this the assumptions can be corrected also and further investigations ought to be made and further other improvisations to be made in the experiment by taking different types of plants and changing the plants, and what about the type of the soil for growing that particular type of plant we can make an assumption and again we can follow these steps continuously. So this is about the scientific method, that is the steps that are followed in the scientific method. First is observation and drawing out the questions out of it, and then hypothesis, planning an experiment, conducting the experiment, drawing the conclusions and communicating the results, and also investigating about it further. Okay children, so that is the last step, that is sixth one is investigation further. Here example, I told you can write down. First you note down this, later I tell you about the investigation further. Okay children, note down this. Here I told you my hypothesis was not correct, isn't it? So what was my hypothesis? That bean seeds will grow best in potting soil. Here my result after doing the experiment was that the seeds sprouted equally well in potting soil as well as in the sandy soil also. So they did not sprout at all in clay soil. That was the result I got after doing the experiment. So by investigation further, so this is about the bean seeds. Now we can take any other seeds or any other plants and do this experiment continuously, and we can investigate our experimentation. So investigation further is useful to find more information about the topic. So here I will be testing with the experiment with the marigold. So that is an example that I have given you. So in physical science or any other topic, like the scientists who observe the nature, the climatologist or the geologist, they take up their own questions. So based upon their questions or the problem that arised in their fields, they investigate their topics accordingly, and they give the result based on their experimentation. Okay children, so that is about the science and scientific method. So the scientific method is the tool that is we can say that it is involves certain steps in an organized manner in which the scientist answers a problem or solves a problem. It is an organized manner. It involves some steps. It is an organized manner in which the scientist answers a problem or a given question, and that involves certain steps, that is observation, hypothesis, planning an experiment, conducting an experiment, drawing conclusion and communicating the result. Okay children, so here this scientific method, as I told you earlier, involves certain skills. They are called as science process skills. These are used by the scientist. These are the tools that the scientist use to solve the problem or a question that arises in his own field. Okay, so with some examples, I tell you about the process skills where they use these methods are the similar, but they use different skills to answer different questions related to different fields. Okay children, that is how with certain examples I'll show you and tell you about it. Meanwhile, you note down this about the scientific method and be ready. Science process skills. They are the thinking tools that the scientists use to answer or to solve a problem. To answer a question or to solve a problem. See, when scientists try to find an answer to a question or do an experiment, they use certain thinking tools. They are called as process skills. For example, observation. There are so many. Out of this, these are the examples: observe, compare, classify, hypothesis, plan and conduct the experiment, and control the variables. So these are all the experiments, and while doing the experimentation also, what do? They analyze the data by certain tools. They use certain tools to analyze the data. Okay children, so that is about the process skills. So while observation, he observes the whatever it is. So the science process skills, while observation, as you know well, he observed the nature and asked himself certain questions about the topic that arises. Okay children, then compare with others. So how do they compare? By taking different examples, I'll tell you the process skills where the scientists try to use. Okay children, first you write down this, and the question that here arises is, Saket wants to make collection of shells. What process skills does he use to conduct this project? So he wants to collect the shells, not cells. Shell, S-H-E-L-L-S. So do this experimentation. What is the process skills that the Saket need to plan? So for the collection of shells, shells are of different shapes, sizes, isn't it children? Saket needs the process skills to conduct his project of collection of shells. So he observe, compare and classify. What does he do? He observe, compare and classify. What do he observe? He observed the shape and size of the shells. Shape and size of the shells. And what do they compare? So different sizes. What is the size of the shell? He will be comparing it. He compares the size. And also he classifies according to the size and shape, whether it is bigger one, smaller one, round, rectangular, whatever it is, how it is, the shell in a form of that is different groups. He may classify and make into different groups of these shells. Okay, he observes the shells by using his senses. What are the different senses that he uses? Here mainly eyes. He sees it, the types of the shells, and compares their sizes, shapes and also some colors also. The shells of different colors, and he classifies or makes them into different groups. Okay, so that is about the collection of the shells. This is one of the example. Next question is, Charita plans to investigate what makes the size and shape of a rock change. So here the change of the rock, what process skills that the Charita uses in observation of the change in the shape and size of a rock. What are the different process skills? We will see now. So here the next question is, how does the size and shape of the rock change? This is the next question that arises. That is the problem. This is one of the problem. So what process skill shall we use to make the scientific method? So in his method he uses only two process skills, that is measurement and recording. What is the measurement? First he takes the rock, he measures the size and shape of the rock, and then she keeps in 3 jars containing the sand and water. Then she interprets the data and she shakes the rocks continuously for a week and measures it and record it. So after recording, how do she record it? While she shakes the jar containing the rocks, the sand against it continuously it will be rubbed while the rocks are being rubbed by the sand, and the rocks decreases in size day by day. So with this she records that after some time the rocks of this change, there will be change in the size of the rocks also while the time prolongs. Okay, so by two things, that is measurement, by doing interpretation of the data, by measuring and recording the data, analyzing the data, by doing the experimentation, she records the data. So these are the two process skills that anybody who are willing to do this experiment can follow. So these are the process skills. It depends upon the scientist who records. So records the experimentation by proving the result based upon the process skill that he uses for interpreting his data. Okay children, so that is about the size and shape of the rock. How does it change? Okay, here what are the two process skills that they used? Measurement and recording. Okay. So note down children, how does the size and shape of a rock change? Requires two process skills. They are measures and records. Measure, collect 3 rocks, measure their mass, put the rocks in a jar containing with sand water, shake the rocks every day for about a week. Then record. We have to record the mass of the rock, container and also the sand. Okay, so now you have to interpret the data. First note down this later. So this is the interpreting the data at the last and conclusion. The rocks are broken down when the sand rubs against each other. Okay, so against the rocks, when they are being rubbed against the rocks, size and the shape is being changed. So this is the interpretation that we can get by doing this process skill for knowing the method where the change occurs in the size and shape of the rods. Next experiment is to prove that how the light switch works. How do the investigation made? So how to do the investigation to prove that light switch works? How does a light switch work? For this, what are the process skills that are required? So to do this, you need a model. Okay, so model, prediction and inference. So you need a model. How do a light switch work? Next question, or next any other experimentation. How do a light switch work? So this is the question that has arisen. So now for this experimentation, what are the process skills required? Process skills required are use a model. You can use a model, prediction, next inference. These are the 3 process skills that they can use to know how do a light switch work. Use a model. For this, you can use a model. You decide to use a model of the switch, wire and which are fixed in the wall. Switch and wires. Okay. Switch and wires fixed in a wall. And prediction. So what is the prediction? Assumption. What is an assumption? That the bulb, wire and the batteries have to be connected to make a bulb light. Okay. So the bulb, wires are to be connected to one another. Bulb, here switch, wires are connected to a wall as I am using a model by using a bulb also. Okay, children. So bulb, wire and switch. These are to be connected to one another. Connected to one another to make the light glow. To make the light glow. Okay, so what is an inference that you get? So even if they are connected to one another, if there is no, that is what is the inference that you get here? Sometimes the power may not be there, then also the bulb may not be glowing. If the filament of the bulb is not if it not in a proper condition, then also the bulb may not glow. There may be several factors. So this is by doing an experiment, or the switch is not in a closed condition, then also the bulb may not glow, isn't it? That is the inference that is made after doing the experimentation, or using a model. We can prove that the light switch works in this manner. We can do it. Okay. So a bulb glows. A bulb, wires and switch are connected to one another. Then only the bulb glows. So the light switch helps the bulb glow if it is in a closed condition only by connecting the bulb to the wires in a closed connection. Okay, children. So that is an inference that moving the paper clip interprets the flow of electricity and turns off the light. Okay. So here that is the inference. So his prediction, that is they are connected to one another. The switch, moving switch interprets the flow of electricity. Interprets the flow of electricity. So this is a physical science part, as you know well. So in simple electricity chapter we have learned about the switch. So you know it. So that if the switch is in on condition, means that is the circuit is closed. In closed circuit, then the flow of electricity will be there and the bulb glows. If there is a, if switch is that is not, it is open, then the bulb does not glow because the electricity is not flowing continuously, you know well. So that is through the interpretation we can understand that the bulb glows. And so by doing an experiment, by using a model, switch wires and the bulb, by using a model we can interpret the data that the light switch, how does the light switch works. Okay children, so note down this also. Here, what is the question children? How much water different brands of paper towels absorb? How much water different brands of paper towels absorb? So, for this, what are the process skills that anybody or a person can use? They are, first one is hypothesis, that is possible answer, that is testing. So, different brands of paper towels are taken. Upon that, one brand will absorb more water and the other will not absorb more water than the one that it will absorb more. Isn't it? So, only one will be absorbing more water. Okay. And the next, for this, we have to plan and conduct the experiment. Plan and conduct the experiment. While conducting the experiment, they have to control the variables. So here what are the variables for this question? We have to see how to do the experiment. For this, what are the equipment required for doing the experiment and what are the variables to be controlled. So the factors that affect the experiment that should be controlled here. So the here hypothesis is one of the brand will absorb more water. That is the hypothesis. We have taken different brands of towels. And next, when planning and conducting the experiment, you are taking 3 beakers, 3 different brands of towels, and in 1 liter of water in 3 beakers you are taking, and putting these towels in the 3 beakers. These 3 different towels in 3 beakers for 10 seconds. Then removing the towels and putting in a beaker for 5 seconds, and then measuring the time taken. So every time is being that is variables, that is water that is taken is equally maintained, and the time that is kept after the time variation. So in all, for 10 seconds for absorption and 5 seconds for the that is the draining the water from the towel in a beaker should be maintained properly. So after that it is being recorded. So these are the process skills that are taken. From that measurement we can understand that one of the paper towel has absorbed more water. So the water that is left over in one of the beaker. If the towel absorbs more water, the leftover water will be less. If the towel absorbs less water, the leftover water in the beaker will be more. So from this we can understand that the variables, that is here, what are the variables to be controlled, the amount of water to be taken should be equally maintained for all the 3 beakers.